Hello, my boy. Hope you're all well in the internet world. Just wanted to show you a little project I've got. So I bought an Atco Balmoral 14SK from a guy, and it's quite near to my son's school. And when I was on my way home, he messaged me and said, "Oh, I've got a few more." He's actually a lawnmower guy and sells rotaries, and he'd taken this in a part exchange. It's a Suffolk Punch 17SK, and the cylinder had all fallen to bits. So for him it was like, I can't be bothered with this, I'd rather just sell nice new mowers, and just wanted to get it, you know, a bit of cash out the back of the shop sort of thing. Anyway, there it was, picture of mower with no cylinder in it, and I said, well, how much you want for it? You know, I'm interested. And we carried on talking for about a month online, and eventually he said, look, I actually want the Kawasaki engine of this one. So the cops are going overhead, sorry. Yeah, I want the engine off it as well. So yeah, there's not going to be much left. So I said, well, I'll buy the frame off you then in that case, because actually I've got quite a few Kawasaki engines now and other mowers, and I could always flip that one over and get a new cylinder, and bang. So here you go. This is the mower. It's a Suffolk Punch 17SK, not in bad condition, and this is what they look like when there's no engine on them and no cylinder. Okay, so a little bit of work to do, but not a lot. And as you can see here, three bolts and a sort of securing thing, and that's it. So literally I unbolt 3 bolts from a different mower, from a different Kawasaki Suffolk Punch, and pop that on. 3 bolts later, fit the accelerator cable, which is a screw, and that's now fully operational in terms of running. And then I've actually got from a buddy of mine called Matt, who lives locally, a 5-blade 17-inch cylinder that will pop in there. So for literally 9 bolts and 1 screw, that will be finished. Obviously then all the cleaning and everything, but I will show you in part 2 what it's starting to look like. Okay, so yeah, more in part 2. Okay, so I've got the donut engine here, and you might wonder or ask why I'm doing this. Well, whilst I was away on holiday, I sourced quite a lot of 14SK Suffolk Punches, and I can't sell them all at once. And I've got no 17s, slightly different market. So I decided to buy that frame and just swap one of the engines from a Suffolk Punch 14SK that I bought. They're all the same engine that go on both mowers, but at least I've got a different mower on the market rather than 5 Suffolk Punch 14SKs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the engine off this one, put it on that one, get a cylinder, pop a cylinder in, and that will be basically ready to go. So it's a super easy job. Yeah, super easy job. So for the start point, and I'll just bring this a little bit closer, hopefully not falling over, but basically the only thing that's holding it on is holding on to it is the accelerator cable here, which goes all the way up to the rabbit lever. So once that's taken off, all I've got is 3 bolts around here. Lift it off and then drop it onto that one, close the 3 bolts and connect the accelerator cable from the other one. So first job is literally Phillips screwdriver, undo that one, and this one is channeled on the lower side of this housing here, so I'll just remember that for the other one. So there we go. That will just drop out, a little bit awkward. that should just pull out. There we go, so that is now free. Just make sure that doesn't fall away. That's okay, that's there. And then basically, really sorry, but I don't know what size this is, but we get the 3 bolts off. So without banging your head, they literally just come off. So that's the first one. Once you get them loosened, you can do them with your fingers. Yeah, that's the 2 off. And the third one. Now this one you have to be a little bit careful because the paintwork is very close to this, and if your spanner is too fat, it's just going to scratch it. So just be a little bit careful with that. It says. I actually have got a socket that I can do this with, but there we go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, should be an engine that will just lift off. So let's see what happens. Obviously, we need to unclip the clutch here. So if you just give me a minute. So we just need to take this covering off here, and there's a Phillips screw in at the larger of the 2 holes. Get that off. There's a clip here, you can see, and that then should just pop up, and that leaves the unit there, and this is held on by an Allen key, and so this aluminium bit just needs sliding back, but there's some Allen key, there's 2 Allen key things there that I just need to loosen. Okay, so I've got the Allen key. I'm afraid I'll put in the comments what mill it is. I've got a feeling it's either a 4.5 or a 5. It's quite a thin one. But anyway, there are 2 holes here with Allen keys, so just screw them both. And you'll see that unit slides back. So now, if nothing else is attached, we just lift that engine off and we walk over, and it's left that unit on the bottom. Now that unit does exist on my other Suffolk Punch, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use that one. The holes are in the same places. Yeah, so I'll move that one in. Okay, so got rained off and had to abandon proceedings, and so I was in the middle of just getting the engine coupled to the drive, and it just takes a little Allen key. The problem with this one, as I found out, is that the actual cover here has got 2 really bad screws, and it's a common thing because debris just settles in the holes, and like grass debris, etc., when you're cutting your lawn, and just rots everything, and the screws rust. It's a really bad design. Anyway, What I found out through lots of asking questions and trying is actually this front cover, once you unclip the side of the top part here, actually does have a little bit of leeway, and you can get underneath with the Allen key and tighten the Allen bolts so the two are together and firm and fixed. It needs to be firm because this thing is taking a lot of tension. So I'll just do that, and then we'll get the engine bolts. So I'm doing this before I put the engine bolts on, just to make sure it's all firm. Not quite sure whether that's the right way around of doing it, but that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll put the bolts in, the 3 bolts in, and basically we are done with fitting the engine part of it. And I just need then to drop a cylinder in. I've got one that's nice and cleaned up and sharp, and then we'll just I'll just do a big clean up of it, get it running. Actually, I might, before I clean it up, I might just give it a good run and test, cut a few stripes on the lawn, and then see how we go on. But yeah, so I'm gonna now just attempt to, I haven't got my reading glasses on, so it's not easy. So get under here. Purchase on it now. There we go. Okay, interrupted this time by the school run, so back at the grind again. So just going to now bolt on the engine. So I've got to just quickly doing these nuts up, just by much by hand as I can. Get that in there. So that's the original plan. It's still moving. That's better. So I'll get all 3 of those most of the way down, and then just tighten it off. Okay, so that's the engine on, and by the way, it's a 14mm spanner that does those 3 bolts, so that's great. So the last thing to do to connect is the accelerator cable, the rabbit cable, whatever you want to call it, which is here. That just dips into that unit there and then tucks underneath cowling, and I think I said from earlier on in the video, it's the underneath part. I'll put it onto full throttle and it should be there. Yeah, that's good. Right, so full throttle, I'll just Phillips screw. I've guided it on the underside of that bar. Not too tight, and there you go, that's all ready to go. Dare I do a live start? Rabbit on, fuel on. There is some fuel in there, but I don't know how old it is, so this might be a disaster. Engine switched on. a bit more rattle there because it's actually on a table that is a glass table. Don't talk to me about that. But anyway, so what we've got now is a Suffolk Punch 17SK with everything except the cassette. So I'll just go get a cassette and we'll finish the video. Okay, so I've got the cassette here. It does need a bit of a refurb. Slot it in. There we go. 2 screws here. Bolts. One on that side. One on that side. I will put clean ones on. Just to show you. Done. There we go. So that just needs finishing off really. So there you go. That's starting with the frame, putting the engine on, connecting up the drive, connecting back the accelerator cable, dropping a cylinder in, cassette cylinder, whatever you want to call them, and that'll be on the market. It'll just probably take me another few hours just to get the cleaning done. That cassette really just needs a refurbish. It is sharp as anything. There's just a little bit of paint come off it, so I'm going to strip it down and respray and then put it back in. So great, thanks very much for watching.